Magic Mike Show, where you hear the experts speak. The Magic Mike Show. Tune into the show every week. The Magic Mike Show. You can trust the show is the bomb because it's being brought to you by RacingDudes.com.
What's up, everybody? I'm Magic.
And I'm Mike.
And this is the Magic Mike Show, episode 507, I think.
Tired Magic, huzzah!
Magic didn't have the window open wide enough. Yeah, 507, there it is. Okay, I set the number a few hours ago. I forgot about that. Hey, welcome, everybody. This is, it's Breeders' Cup week, Monday, October 30th. We're so happy you're here. Breeders' Cup is just a few days away. We're doing the post-draw in about an hour and a half, actually. Probably about 4:45 when they go off. But we'll be live here for that. But right now, Mike and I, because they haven't drawn it yet, they didn't draw it this morning. We're like, Mike said, let's do the fantasy draft. I had such fun beating your ass last year, Magic. Let's do it again this year. And I stupidly said, yes, let's do it again, Mike.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun way to talk about the races because we don't have a ton, like we don't know the post positions. We don't have the odds out yet. We have a pretty good idea of who are going to be the longer shots. And it's a really fun way to rip through the races and kind of feel out the confidence level that we have going into the draw. Horses we're specifically going to be looking at. Long shots we like. I've got 4 long shots tagged. I only think 3 of them are going to end up in fields, but it's fun to have some of those horses that you want to talk about. And it's one of these spots where we're going to end up talking about the majority of the races because we are going to be drafting 10 horses each year.
Yeah, it's different categories. It's not just, hey, what 10 horses do you like the best to win races or do well at the Breeders' Cup? It's a good mix here, and so it's going to be a nice way for Mike and I to talk with each other and with you, the fans that are watching live, what our thoughts are on different races and stuff. So as we're going through, kind of ask questions, throw them in the chat. We'll do our best to keep it, to get to the questions in the moment here as we're talking about the horses, but should be a lot of fun. We'll cover pretty much every division. I'll be honest, I tried very hard to stay away from the 2-year-olds in this one.
Well, that's good to know because I'm going to be pretty heavy on the 2-year-old, so I'll strategically use that against you there. We're going to have 10 categories. There's going to be 3 wild cards. Magic's going to get the first pick here. We're just going to go A, B, back and forth with the picks. You can pick in any category you want. So you don't have to go in order of what they're listed on there. For all the categories except for 3, we're going to score at 5 points for a win, 3 points for second, 1 for third. And this is in case anyone wants to do this with their friends at home. There's going to be a fade favorite category. If they lose, you get 5 points. If they win, you get 0. There is a long shot winner category. For a little bit of spice, if your horse wins, you get the odds. So if it's 16-1 winner, you get 16 points. If they lose, you don't get any points, even if they finish second. So has to win there. And then long shot trifecta horse. If they finish 1, 2, or 3, you get 5 points. If they don't, you get 0. Everything else is the 5-3-1 style.
I'm already nervous about this. No, well, if you're watching live or the replay, if you're watching the screen, we will have a full table up tracking everything. So don't worry, we'll keep going. If you're listening to this, we'll do our best to kind of keep you updated, and we'll recap it after at the end here. Yes, Kevin, that's what I talked about at the start. Thank you. Remember last year when Magic picked the worst ever assembled team? Does anybody, Mike could remember this, does anybody remember who Magic took with the first overall pick? And it shocked Mike and Aaron, who both said, okay, so we'll take Flightline second. Ooh. We'll see. If anybody gets it in the chat, I would love to see it. But all right, I'm excited. You're giving me the first pick once again because it worked so well for both of us last time. Let's get into it. Yeah?
Ed has a question. Casamigos?
Yeah, it's Casamigos, but it's Ralph's cost Casamigos, not island cost Casamigos.
That's fine. We can just head to the track after Saturday. We can head to wherever you want before you can buy me that bottle.
It's nice that you think that I'll still have a running chance after you sweep all the juvenile stuff on Friday. That's nice. Yeah. It'll be fun. All right, let's get into it. Yeah, don't take Flightline this time. Let's get into it, buddy. Right up. All right, here you see on the screen the 10 different categories that we'll be picking for our fantasy teams. Classic horse, turf horse, favorite to win, favorite to fade, long shot to win, long shot to hit the try. Japanese horse, I can probably spell it. It was a smaller window when I did earlier. Japanese horse, and then wild cards 1, 2, and 3. I get first pick. Oh boy. Yeah, Ed says sorry. This is so tough. Like, picking first is tough because there's so many choices. And there isn't a flight line.
Yeah.
Last year it wasn't tough, and I made it tough. This year, that's not the case.
If you want to take Flightline first, I'll let you do it here.
I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. No, I got to go with the turf horse. I'm going to go with Mostadov. Most Def, as he's been known. Give me the Most Def to win the turf. I really think that's down to 2 horses. Since I was picking first, this is the one that I'm most confident in. And possibly the one that you pick here is who gets second, but I will save that comment until then. So first pick overall, and you know what? I'm going to put number 1, Mostadov. So I remember.
I had this list as a possible turf pick. I also had this list as a possible favorite pick because I do think Mostadov's going to be your favorite in the turf. And I like, so that's the interesting part about this too. You don't have to necessarily, you can use a turf or classic horse in another category if you want to.
Yep.
And I didn't have a ton of favorites I'm really excited about. Like I know you've got Cody's Wish, you've got a couple other favorites like that are going to be shorter prices, Elite Power. I think those are going to be some tough spots for them. So favorite to me was one of the more difficult categories. I am actually, I'm going to snipe you a little bit here.
Kevin, that Magic already lost. Thanks.
I'm going to go to Japanese horse.
Okay.
I only thought there were 2 possible Japanese horses.
Yeah.
I know you like Songline quite a bit, so I'm going to go with Songline as my second overall pick for my Japanese horse.
That's smart because that was going to be my next pick here. Yeah, so Songline for the mile. I did have the odds. Where did they go? Let me put them up here. The odds for Bovada with what we have right now. So let me look up Songline. She's right now 7-2 favorite in the mile, along with Master of the Seas, and Maj is 4-1 right behind there. Also, by the way, we're doing this obviously without post draws, so we might pick a horse accidentally that doesn't make it to the Breeders' Cup. As far as the favorites and long shots, you got to give us a little leeway on here because we don't have odds. I'm just going off of what I saw with Bovada and kind of my best guess for some of this stuff.
Yeah, I think you can assume which a couple of them are going to be, but yeah, it's definitely a little tough on the long shot especially, but we're going to try and pick some prices here. You can count on it. And if you haven't looked at Songline, make sure you check out this horse. Really, really impressive. Won over in Saudi, ran over in Saudi, didn't run well that day, but has been phenomenal the rest of the year. But won back-to-back grade 1s over in Tokyo. First start off the layoff, got second by a nose in a grade 1 where it looked like she was going to get home. She looks ultra tough here in this spot, and what's going to be a tough race anyway.
Yeah, and I've been watching her in the morning. She looks great. She got to touch the turf course. They're blending together. It was either today or yesterday. I think it was today. Yeah, today she got to touch the turf course, and it wasn't a fast work, but she got to do a couple laps, and she looked really happy out there. The Japanese horses, for the most part, have been doing pretty well out here. Funny enough, the 2 classic horses are the ones that are giving some trouble here. All right, so the next one for me can fit into a couple of different categories here. I'm going to go ahead and put her in wild card 1. Give me Inspiral. I think Inspiral is a pretty solid lock to win the filly and mare turf here. Coming over for John Gosden, Frankie Dettori's been her rider for 11 of 12 starts, and she has won 7 of those 11 mounts that he's had. She's 8 for 12 lifetime, 10 for 12 in the money. The last race that she lost was a Group 1 race, 3 back against the boys. She lost to a horse named Paddington. If Paddington had come over for the turf or the mile, he was going to be a very solid, probably for the mile, he would have been a very solid contender for that. So kind of happy that he retired because that's one less horse that I have to try and go, all right, got to fit that into the mile ticket, that into the mile ticket. So Inspiral to win the filly mare turf.
Yeah, I was bummed that Paddington's not coming over. That was going to be a horse that I was going to try and key on, see if we get somewhere in that 5 to 6 to 1 price. But like you said, retired, so we're not going to see Paddington in this spot. I like the Inspiral pick. Interesting, you're using the wild card right out of the gate here. That's I'm trying to see if we can save a couple for that wild card spot. Give me my
because you got to think about it. I like favorites and you don't, so that's that's kind of why.
Give me my favorite to fade. I am going to fade Caravel, who I think is going to be your favorite in the turf sprint. I am not. I think it's a really tough race in and of itself. There's a ton of pace. I don't think she makes the lead. I think the post position draw for her is really big, and I don't think that she's in as good a form as she was earlier this season. It's going to be very, very difficult for her to go back to back in the turf sprint. I think she's the best bet against favorite in this weekend.
She is, I'm not saying you can't use it. She's 7-1, 4th choice with Bovada right now. Living the Dream is the 7-2 favorite. Which you want to talk about who had a worse last race, Living the Dream or Caravel. At least Caravel was in the photo for the win, right?
Yeah, I would be surprised if Caravel doesn't go off as I think you're going to get like a 7-2, 4-1 type favorite, and I think it's going to be Caravel when they break from the gate.
Yeah, I am getting paid to watch the horses work out. Not by the racing dudes; they're too cheap. But thankfully, FanDuel stepped in and said they'd pay me to do that. Caravel, I have not seen yet. I don't think the Brad Cox contingent has arrived. They'll probably be here. Tomorrow's Tuesday, probably tomorrow. I'm guessing we're gonna get them on Tuesday. So. All right, next one for me, because the only Now this does get tough all of a sudden.
Well, I know where you're going, and I almost sniped you and took the horse that you're thinking about taking and figuring out where to put.
I don't actually. I'm gonna let's see. It's pick number 5. All right, Arabian Nights winning the Classic, and I have tried very hard to not say this. But Go Rocket Ride's terrible injury took out a huge contender.
Yep.
Forte's not there. Ushba Tesoro spent about 10 minutes throwing a gigantic hissy fit schooling. And he looks terrible in the gate. So they're going to have to spend all week working on that. If that doesn't improve, I don't care how good he's like. Wayda Barrio seems to be like patchwork right now. I think that the Classic is Arabian Nights to lose. And so give me Arabian Night. Bob Baffert's the only one who wins it with 3-year-olds. But he only wins it with 3-year-olds. He's got the best one right here.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the 3 horses I have listed for the Classic. So I was hoping I'd be able to get Arabian Night a little bit later, but I don't hate it. It's interesting when you look at the different pace analysis for this. So you've got a couple, you got Timeform, you got Equinedge that have their pace previews, completely different pace previews from the 2 of them, which is wild. Generally, you see a pretty similar pace preview with some little exceptions. One has Saudi Crown easily getting the lead. The other has Arabian Night easily getting the lead. Neither of them have them dueling, which I think is kind of the most likely scenario here. I considered Arabian Night for favorite as well, by the way. That was another one there that I was thinking about. But I'm kind of wondering, and I was really upset that Ushba's struggling in the gate because I've gotten higher and higher on this horse in the last week or so. The pace sets up beautifully for this horse to be able to come from mid-pack to just off it. And so I agree with you. I think Arabian Night's the horse to beat, but I think the pace issue could be a problem for him.
Saudi Crown's the one, I guess, kind of question mark there. But the way that I watch Saudi Crown, I think that his better chance of doing well at the Breeders' Cup is to go to the Dirt Mile, as crazy as that is, because you've got Cody's Wish and Practical Move and whoever else is back there. But I know Always Dreaming won the Kentucky Derby. I have a hard time seeing Always Dreaming getting 1.25 miles, like Sons of Always Dreaming doing that. They just haven't really been succeeding at long distances.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. We'll see what happens. I think you're going to have to see speed there, which is I don't see any chance Saudi Crown tries to rate, right? And that's the big question. I think the post position draw for the Classic is one of the most important post position draws we have because there is an abundance of horses that want to be forwardly placed there. And Arabian Night is the fastest. If he draws wide, that could be a little bit of a problem for them. We've seen how you kind of want to go out and then force everyone out wide. So if he draws like the 1 through 3, I think Arabian Night has a huge shot there. I'm going to take my favorite next.
Okay. This is the other spot I was looking. Is this what you thought I was going to take?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
Give me Tamara, who I think is your most likely winner on either day. She's running in the juvenile fillies. Daughter of Beholder looked phenomenal last time at Del Mar. I don't think the juvenile fillies is all that difficult of a race, and I think she is ultra talented. Going to be a short price, maybe even your shortest price of the weekend. But to me, if there's one horse that you want to single all weekend, it's Tamara.
I'm glad that you took her, and I was very willing to let you take her because she could very well be the lock of the week. Like that, I think that race is she's got a great chance to win it, but she's never gone 2 turns. It's a 2-month layoff that she's coming into. There are question marks, and so for me to say that that's the most likely favorite to win the entire weekend, that was a little difficult for me. By the way, I think that I put Inspiral down there. Inspiral very well could have been favorite to win.
I had that.
I'll go ahead and actually, well, you still got 3 wild cards. I was like, you can't. I don't think you can touch what I've got here.
Anybody. That's why I'm saving those puppies.
Yeah. Let's see. I've got my turf. I've got that one. I've been trying to stall to get time. All right. This is a horse that I've been in love with for months. It's the long shot to hit the try. I have Loved how she's looked in the morning at San Anita Park. I do not think that there's a world where Desert Dawn wins the Breeders' Cup Distaff. I think there is absolutely a logical world where Desert Dawn hits the try in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. You've got a lot of people, including ourselves, saying the Distaff looks like it's going to fall apart again. You've got Idiomatic, who's going to be super fast. Society is going to be in there. There's a lot of fast horses early. Adair Manor, they're going to burn each other out. And Desert Dawn almost caught Adair Manor at a mile in the Clement Hirsch, where there was no pace. And it was a 4 or 5 horse field. She needs big fields to succeed, and she needs pace. She's not talented enough. She's not good enough to win on talent alone. If she wins, it's a beautiful story about heart. But man, because of that heart, I think she definitely hits the try. And I think that we're looking at like 20-1 possibly for her.
You'll get every bit of 20-1. What do we say about California fillies and mares, Magic?
Well, they don't do well when they leave California, at least not on dirt.
So, I mean, which is odd because I just took Tomorrow to be my favorite, and now I'm knocking your Desert Dawn.
But they're still in California.
We at least have a body of work around Desert Dawn. That's also a pretty tough race. I thought that one came up more difficult than I was expecting. Don't like Adair Manor at all, but if you like Desert Dawn, to me, that's you gotta like Adair Manor as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, no. Do I like her? No, because of the pace.
Okay.
I think Adair Manor was cheap speed, and it's just every race of Desert Dawn, she just tries and tries and tries. And that the reason she doesn't win is because she's not good. She's like the Oklahoma Sooners, right? The talent's not there, but damn it all, they try. Just sometimes you run into a Jayhawk that knocks you down on your chalk.
Yeah, and you're not. Yeah, you're rock chalk Jayhawk.
And you're about to be unemployed is what you were about to say.
Nah, Aaron's not watching this. Maybe you'll catch the replay. We'll see. Oh man, I'm surprised. I was not going to take Desert Dawn for that spot.
I just love her too much, and I didn't think you were going to take her, but I was going to be crushed if you did take her.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna kind of follow the same thing. I'm gonna go off the board a little bit. I'm gonna go to my long shot to win. I don't think you're gonna take this horse, but this is.
Well, I'm definitely not now.
This is one of those that, I think you might have this one listed somewhere in there, or at least thought about it. But I want to make sure. I was kind of worried, to be honest. You were going to take this horse as your horse to hit the board. Give me, and I might mispronounce this, Launay.
Oh, Lalney. I got the pronunciation this week. It's Lalney.
Give me Lalney. This is a Phil D'Amato trained horse. Madacat Stables privately purchases this horse specifically to run in the Breeders' Cup. She has run 6 times in her career. She has run on heavy turf twice. Those are clearly her 2 worst races. I think this horse wants firm turf. I think of all the turf races, this is one of the weaker ones we're going to see all weekend. There's the European contingent, I should say, that's coming in, I think is weaker than almost any other area. I'm getting a European horse, but I'm getting it with a U.S. trainer who is clearly prepping for this race. I've seen anywhere from 17 to 25-1 on the odds board here for Launay. Look, I like a couple other horses in here. I do. I think it's really interesting that we saw, where is she? She Feels Pretty decide to show up here versus run anywhere else. She's going to come in here. I think she's going to be awfully tough for Sherry DeVoe. We've talked about Buchu a little bit here as well.
Mm-hmm.
Won the Jessamine last time at Keeneland. I do think this is one of the better North American contingents, but it's one of the weaker European ones, and I think that's a good place to take a shot on the turf with a price. Launay never stretched out, but again, this is D'Amato. This is Madacat. The plan was to run here. The plan was to buy this horse to specifically run at the Breeders' Cup over firmer turf. I'll take a shot with a big time price. This could be a table winner if we can get Launay home here with what I'm expecting from a price perspective.
I saw her on Bovada right now, 16-1. I looked for Desert Dawn, 35-1. Okay, yeah, Mike was right. I'm gonna get every bit of that price.
Yeah, you picked a big number, man. I would be surprised. I would take the over on 35-1.
Bring it on. I get those odds right. Or wait, no, that's to win, isn't it? Not to hit the try. That's okay. Yeah, listen, Launay was one that I liked. When I saw her in the pre-entries, it really grabbed my attention a lot, and I was very excited to see her. It is a tough race, though. Juvenile Phillies turf. We may have another horse or two come out of that that gets drafted. So I'll keep my comments back for now. But you've got Launay with the 8th overall pick. I kind of want to just use up my wild cards. I know that's stupid. I've got my classic. I've got my turf. I don't have a favorite to win or a favorite to fade or a long shot to win. I need to get one of those.
Or a Japanese horse.
Sorry, thank you, Japanese horse. The T being there threw me off. Let me do a quick odds check here because there's one. I want to make sure that I can get. Oh, man. All right. I'm just going to go for it. Favorite to win, juvenile turf. It's unquestionable that this is Aiden O'Brien's world and we're all just living in it. This to me is his best horse that he's bringing over from all the juvenile races. If it wasn't for a certain horse named August Rodin, who you may or may not be picking for the turf slot, this could be possibly the best horse that, or best, most likely winner that he brings over here. August Rodin is a 2-year-old son of Wooten Bassett who is going to get firm ground in 2 turns, and I really think this horse is just an absolute beast in the spot. He won his. He broke his maiden in his second asking, and then he has a Group 1 placing lost by a length, and then the 2 previous races before that, Mike kept losing to a horse named Bucanero Fuerte. So no Bucanero Fuerte. That means we're all Fuerte on Fuego for unquestionable.
Yeah, no Bucanero Fuerte, no problem, right? Unquestionable. Yeah. Actually, the second horse I listed in this segment. To me, if you had taken Tamara, I would have taken unquestionable here. I thought those were the 2 horses that jumped out as favorites to win. So good pick, Magic. Good pick. Thank you. I'm going to be nice. I'm also going to do this because I want to make sure I get this horse. My long shot to hit the try. If you've watched the Magic Mike show at all the last 2 weeks, give me Talk Talk, baby. Talk here. Juvenile, what is this? Juvenile turf, right? And the reason I'm high on Talk Talk, I will have a win bet on Talk Talk, to be completely honest, but I think it's a pretty difficult race. And this was really, look, I think Lowney has an easier spot than Talk Talk has, but Talk Talk to me has a chance to be absolutely phenomenal here. When you look at for me, first off, you got to go back and watch the last race. That's a big part of this handicap. When Talk Talk was in that race, had a world of trouble and was not able to really get loose in that spot. And so now we get the horse back. I'm going to get a much better trip, or hopefully we get a little bit better trip than we did last time. It can't get much worse.
No.
And this is a spot where Graham Motion debuts the horse at Colonial, goes to Keeneland, and off that effort rolls the horse right back. John Velasquez picks up the mount at Keeneland. I thought this horse was going to win that day if the horse was able to did a clean trip, got anything but it. The fact that they go to the Breeders' Cup with the horse tells you all you need to know about the belief and the talent in Talk Talk. So I'm going to go with long shot to hit the board just because I'm simply concerned about the rest of the field, and that's why Talk Talk ends up here and not in the long shot to win for me.
I like it. I got to see Talk Talk. Talk Talk never got close enough for me to take a picture for you, but as soon as I saw Talk Talk was about to come out, I texted Mike, and I was like, I can see Talk Talk. He's going to come out. It was very, very exciting. Ed asked, are we doing a Breeders' Cup draw show? Yeah, we're going to go live in just about an hour, as Shotty said. 4:30 Pacific time will be myself, Aaron, I think Jared, Mike's questionable, but that's okay. We got Mike for the best part.
I'm hoping I'll be in later in it. I don't think I'll be there right at 4:30.
All right, let me see here. The next one I'm going to go with, I think I'm ready to make my long shot to win. And I actually was back and forth on who to use here. No, wait, I'm going to hold on to this.
I will almost guarantee I'm not going to pick that horse. So you might as well take that one last.
Yeah. I just realized both your long shots are taken and you're not going to waste wild cards on this long of a shot. So, I need a favorite to fade, but I'm going to hold off on that one last, I think, or one of the last, because I want to see if I accidentally pick one that you have on your team, and then they're competing against each other. That would be fun. Wild card number 2. Last year at the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, Cody's Wish came barreling down the stretch at Keeneland, and he caught Cyberknife right at the wire, and I had thought for sure that Cyberknife was one of the most likely winners of the Breeders' Cup, and it killed me that he lost that one.
I had
this year
bet in the BCBC.
This year, we are going to see a repeat. We are going to see off the turn Cody's Wish in the Godolphin Blue barreling down the stretch, except he's not good enough this time to catch Practical Move, who's winning the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Meow, 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 meow.
I thought you were going to go Zozo, since Zozos will be in the lead.
Oh, Zozos will be past at like the 3/16 pole because he's already thrown in the anchor.
I don't hate it. The big question here, that long layoff. Obviously didn't see the horse since the Santa Anita Derby. Comes back, wins an allowance against absolutely nobody, but looks phenomenal doing it. Definitely jumping up a little in class here.
It is, but he looked so good. Just the way that he moved in that return and the way that he's looked on the track since then. And he has the running style that usually can get the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile won. It's usually a situation where you need speed. City of Light, Spun to Run, Knicks Go, Life is Good. Those were like elite speed horses. Zozos is not elite speed. Zozos is going to throw it in. Practical Move will get the first jump on him. I think that Practical Move at this point is too hard for Cody's Wish at this point to run down. Cody's Wish, the last two times we saw him, he was showing some. There's a reason they were retiring him after the Breeders' Cup.
Yep. No, it makes sense. I'm gonna go to my classic horse.
Yeah, bring it on.
This is a little bit of gamesmanship. Give me Ushba Tesoro.
Okay.
So that you can't pick Ushba Tesoro as your Japanese horse. Now you got.
Okay.
Now you got to pick one of the shitty Japanese horses.
That's great. I love that. That's your only reason for picking Ushba Tesoro. Yeah.
Look, I have warmed on this horse quite a bit in the last week and a half. Like since we heard he was coming over, I started to watch the replays, watch back that race overseas in the Middle East. This setup for him, I think, is great. I really think if he's able to figure this gate thing out, which is obviously a big if. You mentioned the 10-minute escapade he had at the gate trying to go in there. He's not looked phenomenal, and that is the big concern here. But if we can get past that, I do think he's got a huge shot in the Classic because you are going to have speed up front. He has tactical speed, should be able to sit mid-pack and make a big-time run at them up front. And the other part of this is I'm actively screwing you over in the Japanese horse category now.
You want to know something funny? He's not who the other Japanese horse was that I was going to put on here.
Really?
Oh,
wow. I mean, to be honest, if you tell me Arabian Night's not winning the Classic, I'm like, I could have 4 horses that will if like pretty much all equal, right?
Yes.
I mean, to me, if he doesn't win, I don't have a huge opinion in who is going to win, and Ushba Tesoro is one of those 4 horses that I think has a legitimate shot to win if it's not Arabian Night.
Okay, let's see here.
Go ahead and take Derma with your Japanese horse.
Oh, good Lord, no. Oh, good Lord, no. I'm not touching Derma Sotogake. Cute horse. Not touching him on this fantasy league here. And I'm not touching Nikoro Neo, no, for the sprint. By the way, I don't know what his name is. There's that Japanese horse in the juvenile that's still a maiden after 2 starts. Did you notice that?
I saw that. Yes, yeah.
And he somehow made the Breeders' Cup.
That's it's an interesting move, I guess is the best way to put it. Yeah.
It's I guess if you had a free spot on the FedEx plane, you might as well fill it, right?
I mean, 6-1, 7-1 in a 12-horse field, you don't get the job done, and then you ship over for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Interesting choice there.
Yeah, yeah. We'll keep it at it's interesting. All right, long shot to win. Is it Coronio? I thought he was the. Yeah. Oh, he is the juvenile. That's right. Yeah. I'm sorry. I thought Coronio was the sprinter. All right, for me, long shot to win. It's time to bust out the 9-1 at Bovada. What number are we on here? 13th overall pick. Matareya, Brad Cox, Flavian Pratt, a beautifully bred horse for 7 furlongs. She's 3 for 6 at the distance, which is a very key thing. She's also the other 3 times she finished 3rd. So if she doesn't win, I mean, maybe I should use her in the try shit. No, I'm just kidding. I really think this is the spot to use her because she's got the right running style. I think that the Filly Mare Sprint is going to have a quicker pace. Society will be in here. I did misspeak. Society is going to be in here. I was thinking of Randomized, who's going to be in the distaff bringing speed. Society will be here bringing speed. Matareya is going to sit pretty close, and I like that she's at the end of her 4-year-old season. I think this is the perfect time to really take this shot with her. And I think that Goodnight Olive is vulnerable here because we've seen her struggle this year. There is no, Matareya did beat her, right, in the Derby City distaff that day, and that was a 7 furlong race. So I think the 4-year-old still in her prime Matareya can beat Goodnight Olive, who, by the way, coming off a 108 Bayer career best, and this is the Filly Mare Sprint champion. So it's a shot, but
I love Matareya. Been a horse I've strategically played quite a bit throughout her career. That Derby City Distaff had her that day at 5-2.
Nice.
If Goodnight Olive could have gotten up for second, I win the Kentucky Derby contest. I had monster exacta cold Mataray over Goodnight Olive, and that trip was one I will not forget anytime soon, especially since I'm age and I had up to the mark in the race right before it. So easy double there to close it out too. I'm not going to pick a horse from this race, and it's maybe the last time we talk about it. So I want to give a shout out to a long shot try horse that I had on my list for this race specifically. Kristen Bosch is a horse that is absolutely live to hit the board here. The 7 furlong part is a key thing. If you go through her past performances, they're incredibly muddy because you have those two-turn races in between 3 6.5 furlong races. She's closing at every one of the 6.5 furlong races. She has no problem getting the 7. She's going to be rolling late. There's quite a bit of speed. She's going to be a monster number. We're talking like 30-1, somewhere in that range.
Mm-hmm.
She likes the track. The 7 furlong shouldn't be an issue. She's hit the board twice in her 2 starts over 7 furlongs. I think Kristen Bosch has a monster chance to hit the try. I wouldn't be shocked if she wins the race if it sets up properly for her, but I think she's got a very big shot to run well and hit the try at a big number because of how dirty her form is.
Just to confirm, you were drafting her, right?
No, I'm not.
Oh, you were just talking about her. All of a sudden, I was like, wait.
No.
Okay.
It's going to be the last time that we're probably going to talk about the filly.
Yes.
And I, like, since we both used our long shot try horse, she's the other one that I was seriously considering if Talk was gone. And so I wanted to make sure I shouted her out because she's one of those horses this weekend that I think could make you some money if you are able to get her. I'm going to go to the juvenile. Give me Muth. I think Muth is the better 2-turn horse than Prince of Monaco. I think it's between the two of them. I loved Muth's ability to rate last time out. I thought that was a big step forward for him. If he's able to rate against this field, I think he has a very big shot to be able to win this race. At worst, I think we're talking about a Baffert exactly here, and Muth ends up running second. I don't love a lot of those coming over from the East Coast for this race. We know speed's going to play well. We know Muth likes the track. So give me Muth here as wild card number 1.
Respect it. Up until Saturday afternoon, I thought for sure Muth was winning the juvenile. And the more I've watched the American Pharaoh and I've watched the Breeders' Futurity, Locked is really growing on me for Todd Pletcher. I think it's actually down to those 2 horses. I think Monaco is going to be possibly a distant third like we saw National Treasure.
I got to say, if you like Locked, you got to talk about the Wine Steward then too. I mean, because I thought the Wine Steward had Locked beat in that what was it, the Futurity that day, right?
The Breeders' Futurity, yeah.
At Keeneland. The horse was 3 for 0, was on the rail versus on the outside, is able to rate. That was the first time going 2 turns. Like, if you like Locked, I think you have to like the Wine Steward too.
See, when I rewatched that race, Locked had to go super wide both turns. Wine Steward saved ground. Locked had to be much farther back than he likes to be. The Wine Steward kind of got to pick where he was. I thought the fact that Locked was able to overcome everything he did and to close faster in a short stretch at Keeneland than what Muth did in the American Pharaoh, there were a lot of things that added up to me. But I did not touch the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Division because everything suddenly changed in my thinking that I'm not ready to make a definitive choice yet.
That's fair. To me, I think the juveniles are. I may be betting more on Friday than Saturday. At least with one of my BCB's entries, I will be betting a good chunk of it on Friday, and hopefully I'm right a couple times because I do think there's some pretty good plays, but they're not big prices, so you're gonna have to bet quite a bit to make some money.
Ed's trying to tell me to take Maj because it could be Mike's turf horse. She's not in the turf. It's the actual Breeders' Cup turf, not just like any horse that runs in a turf race. I guess I probably should have.
Yeah, that was the idea. The 2 big races, you have to have a horse.
Yeah. I can totally see why that was how anybody would read that. So there, I'll fix it.
Yeah, totally fair. Good point there. Good fix.
Listen, Shoddy, Mike's got 2 wild cards. Calm it down. It's okay. We'll get there. All right, I am up. So 14th overall was Muth. That's good. I was a little surprised he kind of fell that far, though I did tip my hand and I told you I wasn't going to take 2-year-olds. So there you go. You got a free pass there. No point in telling you my favorite to fade until the end. I'll save the Japanese horse for second to last. Oh, so all I have left to do is pick a wild card? Oh, well, boom. All right. So here's where I'm going. What I'm having trouble with. I can't decide if I want to pick a horse that I am quite confident will hit the board, or a horse that and just get like 3 points or 1 point, or swing for a win. So that's where some gamesmanship comes in.
Well, how shitty your team is, you probably should go for the win.
That's what the Japanese horse is. Don't worry.
All right.
Okay. Wild card number 3. This is so hard, Mike. Why did you make me have to do this? Wild card number 3. Zandon.
What?
Zandon always tries to hit the board. Always hits the board. Give me some save points with Zandon. Let me save face with something here.
That is a soft pick right there. You're looking for 1 point out of Zandon.
Would you like me to take somebody different?
I mean, no. Please take Zandon. I can already taste the Casamigos on my lips. Look, I agree with you. Potential try super horse, but I can't see anything. I can't see a first or second finish. Can you? I mean, like, do you really think this horse could maybe run? I guess you could make an argument it could run second. Do you think the horse has any chance of winning?
No.
Okay. All right, and that is why I don't love.
But I don't think Desert Dawn has a chance of winning, and I drafted her, so
Well, yeah, you drafted her in a spot where you get 5 points if they finish in third. So you could have taken Zandon in that spot. Anywho, all right, now I'm kind of torn here. I have 2 horses listed that I want to take. And you're not going to take either of them, so I guess I should just take them both. But I also have a couple of horses. Okay, I've been high on this horse for a while, ever since this horse came back. I thought it was going to win its previous effort. I think it should be the favorite in the sprint. Give me Speedboat Beach.
Okay. So what is Speedboat Beach's winning trip?
Breaking the trend and going gate to wire. That is obviously the biggest concern, is that, hey, like, we have not seen a horse go gate to wire in quite some time in this race. The only counterpoint I would put to that is this is the slowest sprint early we have seen in a very long time. How many horses have 100+ time form? 3. Speedboat Beach is at 117 early time form rating. Gunite, who I don't think is going to get the lead, is 107. And Dr. Scheibel is 112. Well, we already know Speedboat Beach is faster than Dr. Scheibel, right? We saw that last time. Dr. Scheibel was able to catch him late. And this is now second off the layoff for a horse that I think has been pointing to this race for a pretty long time. And I don't think Gunite is fast enough to get the lead. So unlike other years where we are in this race and you're like, there are 6 horses that have to go because it's their only chance. And oh, by the way, your 4 to 5 favorites also dead speed, right? This is a different situation where we do not have a plethora of speed signed on for the sprint. We've got 3 horses. 2 of them like to defer. 2 of them don't want the lead. One of them dead set on making it. I think the horse dead setting on making it has an advantage here. So give me Speedboat Beach here, who I think is going to be able to go gate to wire and break the trend in the sprint.
So I either like this pick, I think it's sneaky, or I absolutely think this is the worst pick you've made. Depending on, is Victor Espinoza riding him in the Breeders' Cup, Mike?
I doubt it, but we'll see.
If Juan Hernandez, no, it's not Hernandez. He's going to be on Dr. Scheibel. Vasquez?
Pratt's
got to have a sprint mount, doesn't he?
Pratt rode him 3 of his 5 races.
That's true. Oh.
And Scheibel is the other Pratt mount. So if Hernandez is on Scheibel, you put Pratt. I mean, I wouldn't even mind Mike Smith on a speed horse in a sprint. Like, this is not a hard horse to ride, right? That's the other part of this. There's certain horses that's really easy to mess the trip up. Speedboat Beach in the sprint, it is not a hard ride. Heck, I wouldn't even mind if they threw a bug on him. Give me the weight break. I don't think they actually do that in the Breeders' Cup, but
they don't know.
Give me the weight break with a bug, because this is just simply, and then hold on and hope that he gets the 6 furlongs.
Yeah. Just kind of turn your hands a little bit and then wait till you get to the quarter pole and go. And then off that's how you win.
I mean, so to me, it's like, again, I was surprised. I'm trying to go gate to wire in the sprint because this has been, from a trend perspective, an awful idea. But again, look at the actual speed in this race. Like, it's not nearly as much speed as there was early.
The comments on here about us riding this horse is.
I mean, I would probably break the horse's back, so I don't know if that.
All right. Sorry about that. Okay. Rodney is going to think that it's his birthday because we're going back-to-back Rodney picks on this one. My Japanese horse, if you've been paying attention to Rodney in the chat when he's not screaming about Speedboat Beach, he loves himself a turf sprinter for the Japanese.
I couldn't get to this horse at all.
Jasper Crone! Let's go! Give me Jasper Crone since you took Songline, you son of a bitch. Listen. Okay, so let me talk about Jasper Crone.
Obviously, right? I want to hear the defense on this one.
Japanese horse. He's won four races this year. 2 of them were graded stakes. He comes out of the top Group 1 turf sprint in Japan, where he got 4th, beaten just 2 lengths. This horse has been training well. He's looked at, but he's also he is fast. And I think that that's one of the things that's going to be able to keep him in the mix here is this horse is really fast. And if he breaks well, it's going to be tough to keep this horse from being right there in the mix at the wire. So I think that, especially because I agree with you, Caravel is a bad play. You have a lot of Euros who tend to break very poorly in the turf sprint races here. And then as soon as you do, you're done. Like, that's it. We're going right here.
I don't see the trip. I don't think Jasper Crone's the fastest horse, and the other reason why I couldn't get here, and this is this is just a gambler in me when you look through this. The horse hasn't been under 10-1 in any of the last 4 races, and 1-2 of them.
So the Japanese don't know how to bet. That's not their fault.
I would argue they do.
Kidding. I'm kidding.
The two grade 3s wins over 10-1, but then you get that grade 1, so you're stepping up in competition. Is going to be a cut below what you saw today. You still go off at 10-1 in that spot. Runs okay, 114 time rating, not going to knock that effort. I just feel like it's a cut below, and so I couldn't quite get there. All right, I'm torn here.
On your wild card, because you don't need to pick a turf horse. There's no point in you doing that right now.
This is going to be a wild card for me, and it's between 2 horses. And the magic in me wants to take Casa Creed, and the Mike in me wants to take Live in the Dreams. Or is it Live in the Dreams or Live in the Dreams?
It's live in the dream, but live in the dream. Hey, I'm living the dream, except they put it forwards.
All right, so it's between Casa Creed and Live in the Dream. For me, Casa Creed is a sentimental pick. So if I was Magic and I wasn't worried about winning, I would take...
You're already winning! Look at the teams and tell me how you're not winning this. Just take the sentimental pick, for damn sake.
All right, I'll take Casa Creed because he deserves to be on the squad. Love this horse. We've talked about this horse more than any other horse. I legitimately think it's going to be a very, very difficult race to win just because of how difficult the race is. Not because of Casa Creed and anything I feel about Casa Creed, but because that is one of the toughest races for Casa Creed to be able to win. However, I do like the fact we're in the U.S., has tactical speed, has looked phenomenal, and oh, by the way, competed really well against a lot of the horses over when he did go overseas as well. So I will take Casa Creed as my other wild card. However, I do like Live in the Dream as well, and that is the horse who I think makes the lead in the turf sprint.
He very well could. I still can't believe that he's the favorite. He's very fast. We saw that, but holy smokes, he was so fast he quarter horsed himself. He ran out of gas before he.
I mean, part of that is you got to learn something here. Like you got to understand that there isn't anyone that can go 20-4, 43-3. So you don't need to go 20-4, 43-3. You have to have a little better internal clock. I also think underrated here. We're only going 5 furlongs. I think that matters quite a bit for Living the Dream as well, because that lack of that extra half furlong, I think, makes a difference, especially if he gets loose.
So here's a fun thing. Shoddy wants to know, is Magic going to cement being canceled by picking Cody's Wish as the favorite to fade? No. So I'll tell you before. Cody's Wish and Elite Power were the other thoughts I had for Wild Card 3. But it was also the same idea, was which, you're going to hit the board. I don't think you're winning your race there. Elite Power, by the way, and Cody's Wish have both looked superb in the Moors. They're big, beautiful 5-year-old curling sons, and they look like it. There you go. Mike Smith listed on Speedboat Beach.
A lot of Mikes involved in that comment. We got Michael.
There's a lot. Michael Austin, yes.
Yeah, the Smith there and me. It's a lot of Mikes involved.
Favorite to fade. I'm not going to do it, but I did actually think about putting Arcangelo here, just because if you're haven't been paying attention to what happened on Saturday, Arcangelo took a big spin around the track and he threw a shoe, and since then he has had some serious ouchie feet with that, and maybe that does really hurt. I don't know. I've never had horseshoes put on and then have it ripped off, so maybe it hurts. But the point,
feel good.
It probably doesn't tickle. But where I'm going with this, Mike, is the Breeders' Cup, the biggest race of his life, and a dual classic winner. The biggest race of your life is 5 days away. You've not even touched the track in the last 2 days. You have been too sore, or your trainer is being too cautious that you're not leaving your stall. You're just staying there, and they're trying to heal the foot. And when you have to go a mile and a quarter on the dirt, on hard, fast dirt, that scares me. I'm not going to put Arcangelo here because, although, how about, let me put it this way. If I put Arcangelo here, does that almost guarantee he wins the Classic?
I mean, with your team, yeah.
So if I wanted to just secretly be a face pretending to be a heel here, I would put Cody's Wish, put Arcangelo here, or either one, and then actually celebrate because the feel-good story happens with Jenna Antonucci.
I mean, the only problem with that is there's no chance he's going to be a favorite.
Arcangelo?
Yeah, Arabian Nights can be the favorite.
Arcangelo has been the favorite in overseas trading since it began.
Really?
He's 7-2, or he's 3-1. Arabian Nights 4-1. Ushba's 6-1. White Barrios 6-1. Arcangelo's he was 7-2. He's now 3-1 because Go Rocket Ride is out.
All right, yeah, no, take him then. That's a great favorite to fade.
There you go. All right, Jen Antonucci, you're welcome. Congratulations on winning the Classic.
Yeah, I mean, I respect Arcangelo. I can't get to Arcangelo in this race. The trip actually should be good. We talked about the early pace.
If he scratches, by the way, automatic 5 points. There's also that factor, Trish. I did think about that too.
I don't think that counts. Your horse has to run.
Yes, it does, because if I drafted somebody who didn't end up drawing into a Breeders' Cup race or scratched, I don't get to replace it.
That's fair. Maybe I don't know. But did we have any favorites scratched so far? Now I'm thinking if I should have taken someone else. Anyway, yeah, look. No, there's no official morning line yet, Ron. So we're just going off of I like
Bovada.
We're just going off of Bovada as favorites, and the horses we assume are going to go off as favorites are very close to favorites. Prince of Monaco, another one that I had considered as a favorite to fade. I've seen him as the 4-1 favorite in that race. I'll make my last pick, so it gives us 9 minutes to answer questions here real quick. Look, I think this turf is a 2-horse race. I really do. I'm going to take Augustus Rodin, or August Rodin, or whatever you want to say here. This is just a phenomenal horse. When you go through the PPs and you look at this horse, you have to respect it. The one big hiccup to back, the horse didn't run a lick at Ascot, and that was in the King George. First time facing older, and was eased in the race, but was also the favorite as a 3-year-old in the King George. Comes back, wins the Irish Championship, a Grade 1, $1.3 million race, while sitting close to the pace and just freaking dominating. This is Aidan O'Brien sending over here. Moore's going to take them out. This is a very, very, very good horse. I'm happy to get it with the last pick in the draft.
Yeah, and I agree with you. This was, I love Mostadov enough that that's why I made him the top pick. By the way, funny that the turf horses, or the Breeders' Cup turf horses, were first and last here to bookend. Aidan O'Brien said this is the best athlete he's bringing over, is Auguste Rodin. If Mostadov was not in the race, Auguste Rodin would be my top pick, and I would feel very confident about it. But Mostadov is just that good. Now, if Auguste Rodin wins, am I going to be surprised? No. But I think I'm agreeing with you. It's these two horses. I love Mostadov so much. I didn't want to risk letting you take him away from me.
No, and I would have considered him in the favorite spot. I do think there's a couple other turf horses that are at least interesting. Onisti, I think, is a little interesting at a bigger
Mhm.
number. I think Up to the Mark is going to run pretty well. I think Warlake Goddess is a little bit interesting as well. If you want to look at the U.S. horses, Bolshoi Ballet coming off clearly the best race in his career. King of Steel, I think, is interesting. But to me, there is a gap between these two and all of those horses.
Yeah. I did see. Let me go back. For. Do you get points if Arc scratches? Absolutely. That's why. But part of the reason I did it because I don't like the how his feet have been.
Only in that category because it's favorite to fade.
Yes. I want to go back to Doifan. I saw you ask, or somebody, I think it was Doifan, had asked about Win Maryland in the Filly Mare Turf. Mike, I don't feel like this is a Japanese horse. She's 6. Her form has really fallen off this year. Last year, she was really good. She won the Hong Kong Vase, which is a Group 1, a $2.8 million race in Hong Kong, beating the boys to do it. And then since then, she's had 3 races. Now, they've been good races, but like high-quality races. She lost to Equinox, who, if he was here, like, good Lord, the horse just broke the world record for 2,000 meters on turf. But then the 2 races after that, Mike, I watched the replays, and I couldn't figure out why she didn't like either race. So to me, I'm just going to fade her. I think at 6 that she's probably done. But they brought her. Like, if she's done, they wouldn't have brought her, right?
That's the thing. Like, you just don't assume you're going to bring a horse over, especially shipping from Japan. If you think they're done,
Yeah.
I agree with you. Not going to use her. Not interested in her. Dufan here asks a question: who's on Clairiere? We didn't talk about this race at all, so let's talk a little bit about the distaff.
We didn't talk about the distaff.
No, one of the only races we didn't take a horse in at all. I'm not on Clairiere. I think she's just a little bit below these horses. However, I do think she's got a very good shot at hitting the board. I think Idiomatic's going to be tough if we don't see search results or randomized go. I think it's those 2 horses that really have to push Idiomatic. And if she's able to get loose, like we've seen this with the Breeders' Cup at Santa Anita before. If you get loose in these 2-turn races, you become very, very tough to beat because you have very good horses who are in favorable spots on a track that's generally going to play towards speed. So all of that kind of plays out there. Are you on Idiomatic? Do you like someone else? What are your thoughts here on the distaff?
I had thought about putting Idiomatic as a favorite to fade, actually, because I don't think with the horses that are in there with Adair Manor, I don't think Idiomatic is really that fast. I think she's faced a lot of small fields and not, nobody that had a lot of speed in them. And so that's why she's trading at 3-2 right now. Do you want Idiomatic to win the distaff at 3-2?
No,
I don't.
You got to think, like, I think the draw is really important for her. Adair Manor and Idiomatic, the inside matters quite a bit for both those horses because I don't see any way that Adair Manor doesn't go. But if Idiomatic beats her for the first turn and is on the inside, that makes a big difference here. So I kind of like Pretty Mischievous in this spot, which is a big time, is going to be a bigger price, but she's got the right trip and the setup to be able to win this type of race. When you go back, you look at her in the Kentucky Oaks, kind of sat that mid-pack with a fast pace and was able to get the win, going 1 1/8. I think that's the style of trip that's probably going to win this race if it's not Idiomatic going gate to wire. Is there anyone that jumped out at you if you're not using Idiomatic? Because Clairiere is the other really logical one who's going to get that type of trip. And Leda Vita, I'm not really sure what to do with her. So who do you like in here then?
Clairiere is my pick here, and I think search results has a decent chance to hit the board. I think that she'll sit off. I think that they send randomized after Idiomatic and Clairiere, and that's if you look at randomized PP, she's got 4 wins. All 4 times she won, she had the lead. Whenever she didn't have the lead at first call, she was beaten 6.5 or 11.5 lengths. So she needs the lead, and that tells me that she'll be the one kind of sacrificed. Clairiere is my top pick. I like search results. I think Pretty Mischievous is very interesting as well. Getting back to this 1 1/8 distance. I'll forgive her for the sloppy cotillion and Parks just being a shit show anyways, but I think Pretty Mischievous is pretty sneaky here too.
Yeah, and Justin, Adair Manor's been phenomenal on the track from what we've seen. The big thing and the reason why I think both Magic and I are kind of against her here, she hasn't faced a lot. And a lot of the horses that she had, Desert Dawn has run second or third to her the last 3 times. Desert Dawn's going to be 35-40-1, and that's the best horse she's faced going the 2 turns. Kristen Bosch, ran second to Adair Manor, but that was at 1 1/8. I like Kristen Bosch at 7 furlongs, right? So there's a big time cutback that's involved in that preference there. And what we've consistently seen is when Baffert has these older fillies and mares, and they take on the East Coast older fillies and mares, they have consistently gotten beat the last couple of years. And that's, I think, one of the big reasons why both Magic and I are moving away from Adair Manor, even though she's done absolutely nothing wrong on the track.
Yeah, and that's very true. But the average field size for her last 5 races is 4.8. 24 total horses, including herself, have been in those last 5 races. She's not beating anything, and she's not facing any speed. This is just a completely different class. This is like if she went to Keeneland for the Spinster, or like, you know, shipped it to Saratoga for the personal ensign. Like this is the big leagues. Like, you're the big fish in a small pond in California. You're not the big fish anymore. Especially
in that division where you just don't have that many elite level fillies that are 3 and up, right? 4 and up, really.
Yeah. All right. Listen, we hit the end of this. Every single one of you has been amazing. Thank you so much for participating in the draft. Take a look here at Mike's about to win his 2nd straight bottle of Casamigos tequila off of me. Actually, 2nd, 3rd. I've been giving you way too much tequila lately. I'm bad for your liver. But Mike, we got to get going here at 4:30. So in half an hour, we'll be back here for the post-draw show. Aaron, Jared, myself, and then Mike will hopefully be at the tail end of it coming back here. So join us for that. Mike, any final thoughts before we get out of here, buddy?
Looking forward to the Breeders' Cup, man. I love this weekend every year. It's a blast to start diving into the PPs. I started doing it over the weekend when I was traveling. Sat down, spent 4 hours on the 2 cards, specifically the Breeders' Cup races today, watched a bunch of replays. It just gets you excited to see these horses. It's the only time of year you get to see them all in one place, and you get these European horses come in. I love this Japanese aspect of it that we have now. So we have another region of the world shipping in. Can't wait for the post-draw today. Schedule-wise, we're most likely going to either be 1 to 2 or 2 to 3 Pacific on Wednesday to do the late pick 5. Which you always cover. That'll be Breeders' Cup Saturday, late pick 5. So you're going to get a really cool set of races there that we're going to do. Thursday evening, we'll have a live show talking about Friday's races from the Racing Dudes Airbnb house that we have out there. And Friday evening, we'll be talking about Saturday's races from the Airbnb house as well. So make sure you're subscribed to the Racing Dudes channel here on YouTube so you can catch those. You can also find them in podcast form. They usually go on Blinkers Off, those the Friday on their feed for Thursday and Friday shows. Ours will be on our feed there. You can get that anywhere you listen to podcasts. And if you're going to the track, we will all be there. Feel free to come up, say hi, hang out, grab a drink with us. Love to meet everybody. And it's nice because we have a lot of time between races. So there's a lot of time to chit chat. So it should be a blast. I'll be in the tournament room most of the time. I think we're all going to be wandering around as well. I know last time we had Santa Anita, we caught, I think it was Nick's Go right on the rail there. That was at Del Mar. But we usually go down to the rail for 1 or 2 races as well. So if you see us, come say hi. Love to meet you.
Yeah, the classic when Nick's Go won and Aaron went about 5 feet in the air because I'd put the biggest win bet of my life on him, and I was so happy that first I saw, I just grabbed in a big hug. And Aaron's a lot smaller than me, so it was easy to just kind of throw him up in the air. So, yeah. We'll be throwing babies, and Aaron Halterman's at the Breeders' Cup. Come find us. It'd be a lot of fun.
Still the largest win bet I've ever made in my life.
Was on Nick's Go as well? Remember we got 3-1 on Nick's Go in the Classic?
I remember when we got 3-1 on Nick's Go. I remember vividly when we got 3-1 on Nick's Go in the Classic.
Well, Mike and I will always remember just how wonderful each and every one of you were for this show. Please join us in half an hour for the post-draw. And the rest of the week, subscribe to youtube.com/racingdudes and check out the Breeders' Cup Betting Bible. It's available for pre-sale now. It'll be published on Wednesday, November 1st. So make sure you go to Racing Dudes, check that out. Follow us on Twitter. I'm at Curtis Kalleward. He's at Somobomb18, number 1, number 8, corporate overlords at Racing_Dudes. Until 4:30 in 28 minutes, I'm Magic.
And I'm Mike.
See you soon.
The Magic Mike Show, where you hear the experts speak. The Magic Mike Show. Tune into the show every week. The Magic Mike Show. You can trust the show is the bomb because it's being brought to you by RacingDudes.com.